based on the ID. It's only going to be one thing. It's very, very similar to what we're doing here. Except we're going to have to do this in a loop. What we wanted to look at was lucky friends. We're basically going to do something very similar to what we did here. In fact, we can double this. And we're going to include very similarly go ahead and use a loop again. I'm not going to put a JavaScript in there. We're just going to print this stuff out. Well, a little bit of a problem there. We get well bit of 919. Undefined variable. Where do we have that? Get well data. Save this. We don't need any of that. Yes, let's see. First, I'm going to put this up here further. Okay, so you can see that, and I think the only problem here is that I mixed up the IDs, meaning that on right wall, these two should have been reversed. Yeah. No, well, yeah, let's try that. I think that was reversed. It shouldn't have happened that way. Okay. And if I come in here and I'm now in here as Bart, okay, Bart's still in there. Let's see how this works. If I go and say, and I go back to here's Fred, now you see you have another one. It says, "Hi Fred, how is Wilma?" Maybe it's not showing who sent the message. Let's see. And I think we have that as the email. So this should be, let's try this and see if this works. As 0. Okay, that's better. Now there really was, now if he goes in here and says, this, and clicks on right on wall, it's done. And if we go back to Bart and we do a refresh, and we see right here now, great, how is March? Okay, so you can see the little wall thing there and how it can be done fairly easily. I shouldn't say fairly easily, but how it can be done. I mean, this gets the wall data and displays it, and this puts a message into the wall, just an insert statement, and that's about it. And then you've got the main page here, which does all this. Questions on all this? I know we went through a lot. Okay, no questions at all? Let's see, what else do we have here? We can delete people. We can add a new one. I think I fixed the date of birth thing now. So let's see if we can add someone new. Let's see if that works better this time. Oh, I don't know. Ooh, come on. Justin Bieber. And what can we do with this? It's not going to send out any email, so I can actually use any email address I want. It's not going to send it out anyway, so I'll just say that. And I have no idea how old he is. He's 5. Let's see if the date problem works now. Oh, that's not very good. Ouch! Bunch of errors there. Line 106. Okay, let's see if we added that person. Yeah, he's there, got added, and the date of birth got added correctly too. I'm not sure what happened now, but something got completely messed up. Let's start with 69. Line 69. Okay, so that should be correct. Oh, I think he has to log in again is what happens if you can't go directly there. That's kind of strange. Alright. Okay, so we got some information there and it worked, and we got the date of birth correctly this time. Worked correctly. Of course, we could find a picture of him, I'm sure, on the internet and put it up there if we wanted to. Any questions on this so far? Kind of went fast paced. I am recording everything. Gives you kind of an idea of how web pages work. What I can do, look at this. It's probably okay. I can probably zip this all up and upload it to the website, to my website, if any of you want to look at it, play with it yourself. There's quite a bit to it. I mean, unless you're somewhat advanced, I wouldn't really. No, I shouldn't say advanced. Well, I mean, you can play with it. I don't know how well it's going to work, but you're going to need to download that exam program, like I said, and you can just Google that exam. I think it's under ApacheFriends.org, and download it and install it. And then all you got to do is really unzip the file that I'm put on my website into the htdocs directory. You probably want to create a separate directory for this. This way it doesn't get mixed up with a bunch of other stuff you might do. You can see I've got a couple of different directories here. I've got the Friends one. Timlin has got my entire website and a few others that I work on as well. Okay, so you probably want to do that. Otherwise, trying to think. Is there anything else anyone? Is there anything anyone wants to see? That we haven't looked at yet. Everyone's awfully quiet. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay. Alright, just no questions at all. Okay, I'll upload this to my website so that you all will have access to it. I think that's about it. That's kind of basically the functionality of the site, so there's not really much more to look at. think we covered pretty much all of it. I know it's a lot to absorb. I'm going to put the zip file there. I know it's a lot to absorb. Um, it's kind of, you know, when we go over this stuff here, we're basically finishing the cycle that we started way back here, looking at HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then showing you PHP and showing you MySQL and Apache is out here, right? So XAMPP essentially provides you all three of these. Your own browser provides you HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we spent most of the semester on this side of the cloud, and then the last couple of weeks on this side of the cloud, right? So it's a lot to absorb, but you basically learned this entire architecture in one semester. It's a lot. It's a lot to it. So, you know, the PHP and the server-side stuff is not going to be on the final. Don't worry about it. I was only kidding. Um, but it's really good to see how this all works together to create a web application. Right? We used a combination of all the stuff you learned all semester and PHP and MySQL to create a web application. And that's how it works. Let me see. We copied that over. Let's see. I'm gonna get rid of this because we didn't really do any of this. Should update that. Oops, don't like that. Let me see. href is equal to yeah, so it'll allow you to download it. So you can look at it yourself, play with it. Now keep in mind you have to get the XAMPP. Also keep in mind that you have to create the database too. Let's see. Database tables. I may have some scripts to help you all with that. Let me see if I do. I'm not sure if these are accurate. I may have some database scripts to help you create the database if you want. I'll have to look for them. Okay. Anything else? That's about all I've got for tonight. Let's see. Next week, review for the final. We kind of did these out of orders. We really should have did the Ajax first. Actually, we'll when we do the Ajax stuff, we'll do some more PHP as well. So that, which will be good. There'll be a little more detail there. So, and then review for the final. Questions. By the way, did anyone attempt to go to the lab last Thursday? I don't know if you did or not, but there was an accident on the San Mateo Bridge that backed traffic all the way up to the 92-280 merge. And it took me an hour, literally an hour, to get from the base of 92 at 280 College of San Mateo. That's normally about 5 minutes. So I didn't get into the lab until about an hour late, so I don't know if any of you tried, and because I wasn't there left, or you got stuck in traffic and just gave up. No one actually was at the lab when I got there, and I don't know. So I apologize if you got there and I wasn't there, but it was just a really bad traffic situation, and there's nothing I could do about it. You knew about the accident? Dennis, I'll look at your email after class. So just stay online and I'll take a look at it. Yeah, it was a pretty bad. I almost thought about turning around, but I felt bad. So I actually wound up getting off onto back roads and using my GPS. But even with the GPS and all the time, it still took me like an hour to finally get there. So, all right. Well, I'm glad no one was put out by that. Okay. So I'll end the webinar. Dennis, stay online. I'll look at your email. When did you send the email, Dennis? Okay, I'll look for it. Did you send it to my Yahoo account, or where did you send it? Someone.net? Okay. All right. So I'm going to end the webinar now. You're welcome to stay online if you want, if you have any questions. But at this point, we're basically done.